Hay, además, que conectar esta idea del conocimiento tácito con...
We need to connect this idea of tacit knowledge with the concept of institutions, which we talked about in an earlier class. We said that human beings have two tools to help us face the ineradicably uncertain future. First, our own entrepreneurial capacity, which tends to bring us closer to what we want to achieve. Our ends, though there is no guarantee. And second, institutions, which are repetitive, patterned behaviors we learn with practice, frameworks of behavioral guidelines. Well, the knowledge of institutions is also tacit, inarticulate knowledge. There is a very clear example. I remember the first time I went to the United States. My wife had just completed a master's degree and she was working at a children's school. I used to pick her up from time to time, and I was surprised at how well the 3-year-old American children spoke English. But these 3-year-olds speak English 1,000 times better than I do. And I've spent hours and hours studying books, studying vocabulary, studying grammar, and I don't know even a tenth of what a child 3 or 4 years old knows. They conjugated verbs perfectly, just as a Spanish 4-year-old conjugates the most complicated subjunctives you can think of, and a 5-year-old knows even more than that. Try having a conversation with someone who has learned Spanish as a second language as an adult. He or she has learned it by studying technical knowledge, while a child learns a language by practice. From the time children are small, they hear language, and they see how it is used in interaction with their parents, their siblings, and their friends. Later, schools simply strengthen and refine what children already have. Language is basically tacit, inarticulate knowledge. In addition, the habits, traditions, and institutions that make up legal and moral standards, law, morality, are also practical, entrepreneurial, non-scientific knowledge, and we learn to follow them at a young age. They are instilled in us in our families and later in small, social community groups. Afterward, they may be reinforced by religious feelings, etc. We cannot articulate in scientific terms the specific role legal and moral standards play on a social level. And yet they play a vital role. We sense only the tip of the iceberg, but we have developed these pattern behaviors, and we know right from wrong. And we know that we come closer to achieving our ends if we adopt these pattern behaviors. Accounting is a language, and it enables entrepreneurs to assess whether they have made a profit or sustained a loss in the past, and to set a budget for the future. Nobody invented the Spanish language. It emerged as a result of an evolutionary process, and some would say it is a corruption of Latin. It is believed that the first forms of Castilian were used in the north of Burgos, and they took many generations, centuries to emerge. The same is true of accounting. The first instances of double-entry accounting were discovered in books found in Egypt, books dating from the Ptolemaic period. It was many centuries later that someone actually theorized about what had already tacitly evolved and taken shape. For example, in the sphere of accounting, there was a mathematician and Franciscan monk who taught mathematics to Leonardo da Vinci, Luca Pacioli. People say he discovered accounting. Not true. He theorized about it. He found out what entrepreneurs were doing, and he systematized it in his treatise on double-entry accounting, just as a treatise on linguistics systemizes what 3-year-old children already know, and so on. In any case, please note the tacit, inarticulate nature of the knowledge entrepreneurs generate, the importance of this knowledge, and also the fact that it provides the raw material for the most essential institutions, which make life in society possible. And this makes us quite dizzy, because it turns out that the institutions most crucial for us, language, legal standards, law, morality, etc., have not been created deliberately, nor can they be expressed in words. Instead, they are the result of an evolutionary process in which human beings manifest their nature through a successive change of countless entrepreneurial acts.
de innumerables actos empresariales.
There's an idea that God suddenly called out to Moses, and Moses went up the mountain, and God said, "Here, take these tablets." And Moses went back down with the commandments. "Okay, everybody, here are the commandments." This is a symbolic way of speaking, not a literal account. There is an evolutionary process that involves millions of human beings over generations and generations, thousands and thousands of years, in which we gradually discover, through entrepreneurship, which behaviors are successful and which are not. When something is already there, it is very easy to theorize about it. We could mention the sphere of money. Once it is there, it is very easy for the state to expropriate and manipulate it, and we will see the effects of such measures. They generate expansions and bubbles, and later financial crises and economic recessions. For when we insist on improving the spontaneous process of entrepreneurial creativity from above, we destroy it. That is another of the paradoxes we will learn about in this course. If we insist, in a rationalist manner, on creating our institutions ex novo, or on forcing the predominance of the knowledge that can be articulated in books over entrepreneurial knowledge, we destroy civilization. If I refuse to let anyone ride a bicycle unless he or she had first learned the formulas of mathematical physics, and unless a personal computer monitored everything, there would be no Tour de France. Nor would Indurain ever have appeared. Nor Beethoven, nor Schubert, nor Mother Teresa of Calcutta.